Yeah, nigga. It's your boy Rhasian. You know what I'm saying? Goon Rapids Click, nigga. Goon Squad. Throwing up my shit. Letting you bitch niggas know how we do it around here. Show you niggas how, Roc Rhas do it, you know what I'm saying?